Welcome to the Colleges Wales Teach Pod podcast series. Supported by Welsh Government, these 10-minute sessions offer further education lecturers and work-based learning practitioners practical learning and teaching tips. With contributions from colleges from across Wales, the series offers professional learning opportunities for staff in the FE sector to hear about examples of best practice. There are 4 key themes: resilience, digital, differentiation and A-level pedagogy. For further information, please visit colleges.wales.
Croeso. Welcome all to this podcast. I'm Envis Owen. I'm a Further Education and Apprenticeship Development Officer for the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol. The theme for this podcast will be bilingualism. There will be an introduction on how to go about teaching bilingually in the post-16 sector with a snapshot of the context and support available to get you started. Here to share their knowledge and expertise of this topic are Gwennan Richards from Grŵp Llanrello Menai and Sgiliaeth and Dr Lowri Morgan from the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol. We will discuss useful strategies for your teaching, the training available and the resources available to support you. So welcome Gwennan and Lowri.
Hello, Shmai.
Diolch Envis.
So to begin, can you introduce yourselves and explain a little bit about your role, please? We'll start with you, Lowri.
Hello, Shmai. I'm Lowri Morgans. I'm the FE and Apprenticeships Manager for the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol, and I'm responsible for implementing the new post-16 strategy.
Diolch, Lowri. And Gwennan, how about you?
I'm Gwennan Richards. I'm Bilingual Development Manager at Grŵp Llanrello Menai, and I'm also the manager of Sgiliaeth. Sgiliaeth is a small team of people who work across all of Wales supporting the post-16 education sector with Welsh and bilingual teaching and assessing.
Diolch, Gwennan. So, Lowri, can you tell us a little more about the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol, firstly? Thank you.
Diolch, Envis. The Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol has been working with universities for a decade now, and the position of Welsh in HE has transformed as a result. We continue to work to maintain and expand the work in the HE sector, but the Coleg's role has been extended to include the FE and apprenticeship sector. And the priority for the next period is to increase Welsh language and bilingual provision in these sectors. These sectors are, where there's been less of a tradition perhaps of teaching through the medium of Welsh and bilingually. So the strategy targets all learners and aims to develop the Welsh language skills of all learners and all staff in the post-16 sector. Everyone is on the continuum somewhere, and so by implementing the strategy, we are moving everybody along the continuum. So from awareness to understanding to develop their confidence and fluency skills. There are 6 themes to the strategy, namely learners, staffing, provision, resources, qualifications and employers. And therefore all of these needs need to be developed, and progress needs to be made against all of these themes to implement the strategy.
Diolch, Lowri. How would listeners receive latest information and updates from the Coleg?
Yeah, diolch, Envis. So listeners can go on to the Coleg Cymraeg's website, and under the FE and apprenticeship section on our website, we've got previous issues of the newsletter. So we release a quarterly newsletter, and you can sign up there to receive the latest developments, case studies, access to resources and projects that we have been leading on as well.
Fantastic, diolch. And Gwennan, can you give us an overview of Sgiliaeth's work as well, please?
Yes, of course, no problem, Envis. Sgiliaeth has been providing bilingual support to the post-16 education sector in Wales since its inception back in 2001. We run training sessions, a mentoring programme, we provide advice on good practice, and we develop resources to support staff in the post-16 sector to develop and refine their bilingual teaching and assessing skills. Since August of last year, we have been leading the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol's staff development programme. So everything on this programme is funded by the Coleg Cymraeg, which means there's no cost to the lecturer, assessor or their employer.
Fantastic. And how can listeners go about registering on Sgiliaeth's programme?
Information about all our courses and our mentoring programme is on our website. If you just type Skilliaeth into your web browser, you'll find it straight away. Our website has links to online forms to register your interest in receiving training and mentoring support. And we also use social media, so follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up to date with the courses and supports that we've got available. And you can contact us and register through those platforms as well.
Great. We've started mentioning the support available through these programmes. Are there any other support available to lecturers and assessors to embed Welsh language and bilingualism into their practice?
So yes, like I mentioned, we offer a range of training to the sector, everything from really short courses all the way through to a full master's module. We also offered a tailored one-to-one mentoring programme for individuals. You don't have to be fluent in Welsh to receive support from Skilliaeth. We've got something for everybody, whatever their Welsh language ability is. We also have a range of resources on our website to help lecturers and assessors with bilingual teaching assessing. There's also lots of other stuff online, and I'm sure Lowri can come in here and tell you a little bit about the Porth Adnoddau that the Coleg Cymraeg have set up.
Diolch Gwennan. So the Porth Adnoddau is an online resources portal which includes all of the resources that we've commissioned and developed for the post-16 sector and the higher education sector as well, and also any resources that we've collected from the sector. So by the end of March 2021 there'll be over 150 new resources across health and social care, childcare, public services and agriculture for you to access and use with your learners. We've also developed a resource to support the development of the post-16 sector, which includes best practice guides, case studies, how you can go about and create a language profile, for example, within the department. So that is a really useful planning tool, I would say there. Gwennan's also mentioned Skilliaeth training. And then there's the Work Welsh Cymraeg Gwaith scheme for lecturers and assessors to develop their Welsh language skills and to be able to move along the continuum. So the National Centre for Learning Welsh funds that programme, and then Coleg Cymru coordinate that scheme on our behalf.
Fantastic, thank you for all that information. How would you go about persuading a lecturer who isn't a Welsh speaker possibly to take advantage of the learners' Welsh language skills in the classroom?
I think the first thing to do is just to give it a go, have that confidence to try it out and not to be afraid of the Welsh language either. Strategies that you can use are things such as using your students who are fluent or confident in Welsh to pronounce vocabulary or phrases, because they love to come across that they know more than the lecturer or the assessor, for example. So I'd say definitely use the students that you've got in your class to do that.
Yes, I agree with you, Lowri. And having Welsh-speaking learners in the class can do so much to bring more Welsh into the lessons and to normalise the Welsh language amongst the group. Welsh-speaking learners can influence others in the class and help them, encourage them to develop their own skills. And there's lots of things you can do with your Welsh learners to sort of increase the amount of Welsh that is heard and seen in your lessons. Welsh learners can, if you have group work or pair work, you can put Welsh learners with non-Welsh learners just to provide support. Obviously, there'll be some times where you want to put the fluent Welsh learners together so that they can support each other. But there are other times when they can support the non-Welsh speakers. You can also ask the Welsh-speaking learners to contribute in Welsh, so answer questions, give presentations in Welsh, and translanguage the English contributions that other learners make. Translanguaging is a really special skill, because if you can translanguage something from English to Welsh or from Welsh to English, it really helps with the processing and understanding of the topic. So, as well as increasing the amount of Welsh in your lessons, it's increasing the understanding of the topic as well.
Thank you, Gwennan, really useful advice there. How about assessors who are not used to working through the medium of Welsh? how would you suggest that they go about starting to use Welsh with the apprentices?
Well, for anyone who's not used to working through the medium of Welsh, be them assessors or lecturers, I would suggest that they start with the basic things like using Welsh greetings, Welsh feedback and simple Welsh questions. Things like these are easy to learn and they normalise the Welsh language. And over time, the Welsh language becomes a natural part of their work. But also, to go back specifically to assessors, they work with employers and they have a really important role to play in promoting the importance of Welsh as an employability skill to their learners. And even if they don't speak Welsh themselves, they can refer or direct their learners to other support available to them. There are lots of Welsh language resources available online. We've already mentioned the Porth, but there's lots of stuff on the internet, lots of support, lots of resources that learners can use.
Definitely, I agree with you there, Gwennan. The other resource as well that we've commissioned specifically for apprentices is Prentice Iaith, and assessors can encourage their apprentices to work through that resource. It's on the awareness level, but we are developing the next level up of understanding at the moment. So apprentices can work through that, and then assessors can monitor the progress of the apprentices as they work through that online resource. And it was interesting that you were mentioning there about the role of the assessor and promoting Welsh as an employability skill. They should also look at ways of promoting examples of ways to work bilingually in the workplace. So this is more relatable then to apprentices as well.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Lori. And lastly, what's your advice to anyone listening who would like to use some Welsh with the learners?
I'd say just go for it. Start by doing small things like using Welsh greetings, and then gradually increase your use of Welsh as your confidence and your skills develop. Also make the most of the support available to you. There's support from Sgiliaeth, the Coleg Cymraeg Cenedlaethol, and I'm sure you'll be able to find support from your employer and colleagues as well.
Yeah, definitely, Gwen, and I agree with you there. I think the main thing is to have that confidence to give it a go. Like I said at the start, you don't need to be afraid of the Welsh language. I think there's more support now than there's ever been to learn Welsh, to develop your Welsh language skills, and especially in the post-16 sector as well, with Sgiliaeth courses and the National Centre for Learning Welsh Cymraeg Gwaith scheme, the Work Welsh scheme that I mentioned earlier, and the resources that we've got available on a Porth Adnoddau as well. So definitely give it a go.
Diolch yn fawr, Gwennan and Lori. It's been really useful to hear you share this information and offering advice. Diolch.
With contributions from FE professionals from across Wales, the Colleges Wales Teach Pod podcast series offers a series of short teaching and learning tips, which you can put into practice straight away. The range of podcasts is broad, with sessions covering the themes of resilience, digital, differentiation, and A-level pedagogy. Find out more today.